Okay, we are broadcasting. Okay, we are recording. So, here we are, finally getting back together on a Ustream web chat. So, it's been a while since we've been in front of the camera. I looked at the last Ustream feed and it said about 77 days ago was the last time any of us Divo boys were on here. I'm sorry it couldn't be all four of us, but we are on vacation right now, and so it would be a little bit difficult and maybe a little bit expensive to try and pull all four of us together for a single web chat. But I'm happy to be here, happy to kind of catch you up on what I've been doing for the last little while. We have finished our album. I'm still not allowed to say anything about it just yet. But very, very excited about it. We've listened back to the mixes. We're just so happy about it. We're very proud about it. Again, can't say anything just yet, but it's so close. Okay. So, so what have I been up to in my time off? Well, I've been up to a lot of different things. So I keep looking down here. I've got my little iPad with my questions and trying to keep me on track for this chat. I've been up to a lot of different things. I've just really, first and foremost, been enjoying being at home, spending time in my apartment. You know, last year we were on tour for roughly, except for a few pauses here and there, it was almost 18 months we were on tour because we were on the Wicked Game tour, and then that bled into the Greatest Hits tour. Catherine Jenkins, and and then straight back into the studio, and just being on the road for 18 months was exhausting. But I'm catching back up with myself. I'm getting my energy back. Going to the gym a lot, eating much better, much healthier, because you never can tell. When you're on the road, you go from hotel to hotel. You never know what cuisines you're going to get in, come into contact with. You never know what quality food materials that they're going to cook the dishes with, and so a lot of times you end up going more kind of basic foods that might not be the best for you, but they're kind of tried and tested, and things like burgers and pizzas, and it's terrible for you, but it just keeps you running. So I've been drinking a lot of green juices, a lot of salad. Cooking at home has been fantastic, and it's really funny because Sarah Joy and I have been we basically kind of flip-flopped almost entirely. She is now in the middle of rehearsals for an opera called Anna Nicole. It is about the kind of the life story of Anna Nicole Smith, who, for those of you around the world, not from the U.S., was kind of a controversial figure who led quite a scandalous type of life and was in the public eye a lot. And she was one of the pioneers of reality TV shows and kind of an iconic figure from recent American pop culture. And so this is an opera about her life, and Sarah Joy is playing Anna, so it's, she's in rehearsal 7-8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and so we really don't get to see each other as much as we would have wanted to now that I'm home for a while. But it's almost like she's on the road, and I'm here at home, and I'm playing the role of what we've come to call the Hausfrau. I'm doing the cooking, I'm doing the cleaning, I'm doing the laundry, and to be quite honest, I'm really enjoying it because it just, these taking care of myself, taking care of us, taking care of what seems like mundane tasks is actually so grounding and so, it just makes me feel like a human being again, if you know what I mean. I like room service, I love room service, but it is really nice to just be able to make exactly what I want. So Sarah Joy has been up to that, and in the meantime, kind of leading up to this period of her being in Anna Nicole, we have put together an album for her. Let me pull this up here. It's called Sarah Joy, A Glorious Dream, and we are going to be releasing this. We basically self-produced it and basically putting it online, and it's going to be going on to iTunes and onto Amazon, and it's going to release on September 17th. Let me pull this up. Here is, go away. Here is the cover. I don't know if you can see that. Trying to line that up there. Sarah Joy, A Glorious Dream. Well, the camera's backwards. And so, yeah, it's going to be including all of her favorite arias that she has been singing throughout her career. And, you know, it was an absolutely fantastic experience. Let me pull Twitter back up. Fantastic experience working on this, kind of sitting on the other side of the table. You know, normally I'm in front of the microphone, and you know, the producer is telling me or telling the four of us what to do, and so to be on the other side of the table, being part of the mixing process, being part of the producing process. Carlos has been in the producing business now with Geraldine, and so he's kind of gotten into that, and I've been paying attention to all the things he's been telling me over the years of working on Innocence and how he's gotten this process going. And Sarah Joy and I were talking about it a little while back, and we were like, well, you know, if they can do it, why can't we do it? So we've been working on it. It's been a labor of love, and just so proud of it. September 17th, A Glorious Dream. That's going to be coming out on iTunes and Amazon, and we're going to have websites and links to it and all the hoobadoo. And so, and as well, you know, we're not going the traditional route for CD production. You know, record stores are tough to come by these days, so we're releasing it exclusively online. So the retail is online to have a physical product. There will be a physical product, but also downloading from iTunes is going to be the majority of how this is going to work. And you know, as the classical genre is coming into the 21st century, and as more people are online, and Sarah Joy actually has a lot of classical music lovers who are already following her on Twitter, at Sarah Joy Miller at Twitter, plug. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to, and for the rest, just trying to, you know, get my energy recouped, as I said before. So let's see what else. Let's see what else. I've got a whole list of things we're going to talk about here. Da, 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 la 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 la. Said that. I've been talking for a while now, haven't I? La la la. Okay, so we've got some questions from Twitter. I'm going to open this up to the world at large. Going to answer some questions. We do have a chat feed on here. I can see it. Let me just get to that first. Poland misses us very much. Hello, Poland. Hello from England, Los Angeles, Mexico. Shout out to Prague, Venezuela, Andalusia. La la la. Trying to see all the places. Hello from Russia. More kisses from Poland. The Polish, they like the kisses. It's Mexico. It's absolutely amazing to see everyone tuning in from around the world. I mean, that's pretty much across the globe. I know it's pretty late for Asia, and I got a lot of messages from Malaysia, Japan, Korea, saying they were wishing they would be awake at this point, because it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. over there for them on Sunday. So when you see this on YouTube, hello to all the Asian countries, and hello to everyone else who is tuned in. So we will go to the Twitter questions. I have to find them as well. They are not on here. Technology. Done. I could go straight to Twitter, I suppose, but I do have a pre-sorted list of questions that have been sent to me here, and we will start with that. Okay. So we have Nadia Seron asks, we've all already seen that you love to cook. What is your favorite main dish and dessert to prepare? Well, I posted a picture on Twitter last week, a couple weeks ago. It's all starting to run together. Free time, it's running out. but it was of chicken tikka masala. It's an Indian dish that is one of my all-time favorites. I learned how to make that a few years ago, actually while I was living in the UK. And I didn't get it right when I was in the UK. I was kind of improvising and using ingredients that I thought chicken tikka masala was probably made of, but it wasn't, and it always kind of came out weird. So this year I decided, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this properly. Pulled up 4 or 5 different recipes and picked the one that I thought had the most ingredients, because I like flavor. It's really not so much about the dish itself. It's really about just flavor. I love eating, I love tasting things, and so the one that had the most proportions of curry and cumin and all of the different spices, and I do like things very, very spicy. Definitely a whole lot more than Sarah Joy does. Kind of the spicier the better for me, and so that's my favorite main dish to cook. Favorite dessert, I'm not really very well versed at baking per se. Urs really does more of the desserts. He is very good at making desserts, and that's one of the things he loves to do in the kitchen. I'm trying. I made a mango cobbler a couple weeks ago. It came out okay, but I tried to make, I'm also, you know, trying to live and eat in a healthy way. So I tried making this mango cobbler and making the crust using spelt flour, and spelt is great. You know, it's a really good substitute, very healthy substitute for flour, which can be very difficult for the digestive system. It's actually one of the most difficult things for the digestive system. All the bread we eat, crust, pizza crust. I mean, I love pizza, but it's really not good for me. So I tried using spelt flour, and I should have looked up how to make a spelt flour crust, because I put in the same proportions as regular flour, and it just came out a kind of a gross mess and was not good. It's kind of like graham crackers all crumbled up, except not as sweet. It just wasn't so good. So I might take another stab at that later on. I like the pies thing, the idea of making pies. Growing up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, my mom used to make pies, and you know, mincemeat pie, apple pie, pumpkin pies, and they stuck with me, and so, you know, maybe I'll give that a shot at some point this week. Let me check in here with the chat. Oh, I've just been answering Sebiki 1967's question. We do have a hello from Japan. We have a hello from Taiwan. We got Brazil's come in. When are we expecting a new album of Il Divo? Well, as I said before, I can't talk about the album, but it will be coming out later this year. As I said, it is finished. It's in the final stages of getting prepared for the release, but our work in the studio is done, and we're very excited about that. And that'll be coming out at some point later this year. I don't know what the exact date is. I'm not the record company, so it's they make these decisions. Let's see, what else we have. Sue Martin asks, have you spoken to Carlos, Sebastian, and Urs since you've all been apart, and are you missing each other? The answer to that, the quick answer, is no. And not because we don't like speaking to each other. We actually are very good friends. And, you know, over the last 10 years, we've formed a very good brotherly bond with each other. Someone asked a question later on, or maybe it was on the hashtag David Livestream. Someone asked, how do you feel about the word bromance? And, well, I'm really not sure what that word means. It's such a vague term. But the four of us, I wouldn't say it's a bromance. I would say it's more like a family. We were put together, we forged this bond, and we've been through so many experiences that I think it goes beyond a friendship. I wouldn't call my relationship with the other guys so much of a friendship as I would call it a family. It's like a second family. Just band of brothers, if you will. Let's see, what else? Oh, are we missing each other? I'm sure on some level we are, but having spent 18 months together, you kind of fill up that tank of quality time together. And so that tank is still full. That hasn't run out yet. But I know that once we do get back together and once we start the process again for the next album, just pick up right where we left off. Let's see here. How did you find... Irina Yakimov asks, how did you find a balance among the group when you came from such different backgrounds, musically, mentally, emotionally? Balance is a very tricky word. Some days we have it, some days we have less of it, some days we have more. But like you said, because we come from such radically different backgrounds, and for 30 years of our lives, we're our own autonomous person. And I think that's part of the reason for the success of why, when we were put together, if we had been put together 10 years prior, it might not have worked out so much. But because we'd had 30 years instead of 20 years of becoming our own person and bringing that to the table, we each knew what we wanted out of the group, we knew what we wanted out of our careers, we were fully formed adult brains and could then interact with each other with a whole lot more sensitivity, dexterity, being able to say what you want, being able to be part of a conversation, to not be belligerent about it, express your views, be heard. Maybe we agree, maybe we don't, but that's okay. We'll keep moving forward in our relationship together. So yeah, balance. It's just like any other thing. It's like a tightrope walker. Sometimes it's real easy, and sometimes you wobble. It happens. Let's see. Susan Marie Geldart asks, what kind of music do you like? I know you've recently listened to Queen's music, which is true. I had very recently come across the Greatest Hits album from Queen, which I surprisingly had never done before. And it's very rich music. It's great singing, but it's also the musicianship of those guys is amazing, and the composition of those songs really, when you look below how they were iconic pop music, you look below that, you look at the composition of it, it's in depth. I mean, true musicianship, big respect for them. But in general, I listen to techno music. I listen to all kinds of techno music. I'll put the radio on. I'll listen to what's going on right now on the airwaves. I'm kind of in a dubstep phase, which is its own kind of unique beat. Difficult to describe how that's different from other techno, but it's kind of got a harder sound. It's got an edgier sound. It's not quite hardcore techno, which is, for me, is a bit too fast. I like to have something that's very energetic in the background. As you may have already guessed, kind of an energetic guy myself, and so I like the music to keep fueling that energy, especially when I go for a run or when I go to the gym and do a workout. I like to have that kind of real deep bass and rocking out feel to it, so it just kind of gives me an extra when I'm pushing the weights and whatnot. So let's see, did anyone catch that? Oh, 85 new messages. Oh, jeez. Hello, David. This is Svetlana Chitro. That's a big, long name. Tishenko. That's as best as I can get it. Hello, David. You mentioned you love to read as a child. What genres do you like? Do you have a favorite author and a favorite book? I like fiction, mainly. I like all different kinds of fiction. I like fantasy fiction, science fiction. I loved reading the Star Wars saga, as after the movies were all created and they started branching off, and there's a whole universe of books out there of what happens after Return of the Jedi ends and what happens before Phantom Menace and just everything in between. And after I think about the 50th book, 50th or 60th book that had come out, I kind of lost track of how many characters, and I didn't follow the storylines, and so I ended up disengaging from that. But it's definitely one of the things I love to read, be lost in the Star Wars universe. I also like the fantasy fiction, things like The Hobbit, and things that delve into more of a mystical fiction kind of thing. I also love philosophical books. I really loved Dostoevsky. I love Ayn Rand. I'm actually in the middle of rereading The Fountainhead for the third time. I think it's the third time. I'm also rereading The Silmarillion, which is J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's kind of his account of the beginning of the world, the beginning of the universe as it relates to Middle-earth, and it's a fascinating kind of his take on Genesis as seen through the eyes of Middle-earth. It's very interesting. And then it branches off, and then the characters, and it gets very complex and different storylines that you have to follow once all of the elves and the men. Okay, nerd alert. Woo! So let's go back to the questions. Joy Lester, yes, she was the one who asked about bromance earlier. Which language? Jennifer Watkins asked, which language do you find it most difficult to sing in? That's a difficult one, because being a singer, being a trained opera singer, having a facility with languages as we do as opera singers, because we spend much of the time singing in a language that's not our own, you kind of get used to, if you don't necessarily understand the grammar and the vocabulary directly, you definitely have a sense of mimicry of syllables, of vowels and whatnot. I think the most difficult one that I've sung is Russian. Is very difficult. There's a lot of vocalic consonants that all go together, that are all kind of stacked on top of each other. That's can be difficult to get the mouth around, as opposed to Italian, which is very wide open. Czech is also a difficult language to sing in. So yeah, have not had a chance to delve into any of the Asian languages yet, but you know, who knows? Who knows what might happen down the line? Speaking of Asian languages, where is this? Where is that question? There is a song that we recently recorded that's going to be on the Japanese release of the new album, called Flowers Will Bloom. And this was a song that we recorded in as kind of a charity response to the tsunami and the earthquake that happened in Japan. And last year on the tour, while we were in Japan, we had sung a song in Japanese, Furusato, and we got such a great response. It was just kind of like a thing that we had put together, our own little Il Divo version of it, and the response from the audiences was so overwhelming that we thought, you know, let's do this for real. Let's make a track and let's put it out there for the victims of the earthquake and tsunami. So we did, and it is in English though. This one is not in Japanese. But we're very proud of it. We're very happy that if our voices can be of benefit to anyone around the world, that's part of what being a musician is all about, what part of being a vocalist is all about. You know, a lot of people have told us over the years, in Japan specifically, but also from around the world, we get fans who come to the meet and greets, and they say, you know, how our music has affected them and how it's brought happiness into their lives, and it's brought joy when going through a difficult time, whether it be a surgery or a loved one, and that to me as an artist, that's part of why I do what I do. And you know, being able to express myself is one side of it, but the additional bonus of it is if it's affecting people in a positive way, there's no greater compliment that we as artists can receive. Just my opinion. So let's see, that's what I have on this list of questions. Oh, those were Facebook questions. Sorry, I've got it all backwards. Those were Facebook questions. These are Twitter questions. At Fiorella Madrid asks, what is the most demanding tenor role and why? That is a difficult question to answer because every tenor's voice is different. It's not sort of a plug-and-play type of thing. People have different timbres. Even within Il Divo, as you know, the four of us have radically different timbres, and we bring them all together, and they create a certain special magic to it. But, you know, part of what creates a timbre in one's voice is the training they received, the type of music that they like to sing and have ingrained in their throats, their environment growing up sociologically. You know, there are certain, without being racist, there are certain races that have more of a quietude about the way in which they are vocal with each other in public or in private, and there are certain races that are a lot more boisterous in their approach to how they use their voice. And so it can create different, just a different usage of your chords and how you approach music. So in how that all, you know, relates to opera is everyone has a voice. Not everyone has an actual literal vocal voice, but everyone has a voice, and they use it to the degree that they know how to use it. They can always expand on that information. They can always choose to seek out instruction, to create techniques in place to use their voice in a very specific way how they want to. Bringing all of that into opera, everyone has a different range. Everyone has a different, you know, for example, I'll just talk about myself. There are certain roles for me that are difficult to sing. And the interesting reason is because a lot of them sit lower than I am used to singing. I have quite a high tenor voice, and so what lies in the high lyric part is easily reachable for me. That's where I've spent the majority of my career singing. But things like, for example, Lenski and Eugene Onegin, again, back to singing in Russian, maybe it had something to do with this as well as why singing in Russian was difficult for me, because this is the only thing in Russian that I've actually sung. Is that a lot of it lies in a low tessitura, and so having to like get down there and sing in a part of my voice that's a little bit uncomfortable down there, trying to project with really down there, it's not easy for me. My voice sits up here, you know. For example, when we were on the tour, I don't remember which one it was, where we sang "I Believe in You," the duet with Celine Dion that we did. And when Celine wasn't with us, I was singing Celine's track. I was singing her harmony throughout the whole thing, because that's how high my voice goes. So, but things that I love to sing, things that really sit in the meat and potatoes of my voice, Alfredo and La Traviata, I like to sing that one. Werther, in Werther, the title role. French music, French operas have a great deal of, I have a great deal of affinity for, and find them to flow easily through my voice. Des Grieux in Manon, another one that I like. But on the other hand, Nadir in Pearl Fishers, another French opera, but that one sits a little bit on the high side. I kind of reach for it sometimes, and it's not the high notes, it's not the super high notes, it's really the tessitura of where kind of the median of where it all hangs out. It's just a little higher than I would like to sing for 2 hours. So it really just depends, and I think everyone's different, and everyone who sings opera is going to have a different experience. Let's see, we are at 28 minutes at this point, and this was supposed to be a half-an-hour discussion, but I'm going to be generous. Let's keep going. Mariela Rodriguez, at Mariela2404. What is your favorite place in the world to perform? That's a very difficult question, because we have been to so many unbelievable places around the world. I don't think that there's any place we've been to that we haven't enjoyed singing in. Every place is unique and particular, and whether it's the scenery or coming into contact with the people, finding each culture and their own idiosyncrasies, how they all choose to express their gratitude for what we do in our music. Absolute favorite places to play. Well, I love playing in New York, obviously for selfish reasons. Being on home turf, it's just fun. Also going to Colorado, again, same feeling. home turf, playing in Denver, the response is just, it gets pretty wild, actually. A newcomer to the mix, going to playing at the Grand Ole Opry was a ridiculous amount of noise for playing in that theater, and having the response. It was, we'd never played there before on this last tour, the Greatest Hits tour, and it just blew our socks off how everyone was so into it in a place that we'd never played before. And it was really heartening in a way, because you know, sometimes you wonder over time, does this still work? Yes, we have our hardcore fans. We have the people who follow us around. Yes, we have people who show up to the shows when we play there. You know, it's once a year when we get back to places. But, you know, going to a place who may have never heard of us before, do we have any relevance there? Is it going to work? And we go there and it's like, boom, in our faces, how much people just are loving what we're doing. And, you know, that gives us heart to keep continuing on for another 10 years. But I'm going to decline from saying any specific place other than New York and Colorado and home turf, because I don't want to make anybody jealous. I don't want to single anybody out and say, oh, I like playing in this place, and everybody else goes, well, what about when you came here? So everywhere is amazing, and we love playing everywhere. Let's see. We talked about, yes, there was a question from Il Divo Héroes, Venezuela, and that was about Flowers Will Bloom, talking about the song for Japan. We did that. La la la. There was a question here that I want to answer. I want to find where it is. Here's one. It's not the one, but here's one. This is from Heather Cook at the Rev Hev. Oh, by the way, Il Divo Héroes was at Il Divo Héroe Vizla, HEROEVZLA. Mariela Rodriguez was at Mariela 2004. I think I said that one. Fiorella Madrid. I said that one. Okay. La la la. The Rev Hev, THEREVHEV. Can you recall the very first solo you ever sang to an audience, and how old were you? I can. Well, not technically. There's one prior to this that I don't remember, but the first one that I remember was 3rd grade. I was playing Davy in Davy Crockett, and I think my mom has a videotape of it somewhere in her collection. It was a funny experience because I messed up. I completely messed up the words. My one solo thing, well, there were 2 solo things. There was a solo line here, and then there was a scene, and then there was another solo line that was a recap of the scene that had just happened. But it was, anyways, we get to that second solo line, and I sang the first solo line from a different scene that had nothing to do with what was going on, completely messed up, completely stopped in the middle, smacked myself in the forehead and went, I mean, and then continued on. I have to find this. I have to find that VHS tape. I'll ask my mom to dig that out from somewhere, and I'll cut it together and I'll post it, because it's just, it's so embarrassing. It's so silly all at the same time. So yeah, that was it. I know I was in a play before that. I don't know if I had any lines. I'm pretty sure I was 3rd tree from the left, but that technically was my first time on stage. Oh la la, ba. What was the last album you bought? That's from Malak Diva, at Malak Abuzar, ABOUZAHR. I honestly don't know. I buy things in batches, so I'll go on and go, oh, I remember that album. I'm trying to recreate my audio tapes and record collection that I used to have, which I've completely lost track of. No idea where it went to. Might have been sold in a garage sale, who knows. But trying to recreate that via iTunes. And so, well, the last batch that I downloaded included a whole lot of Art of Noise, which was a kind of the grandfather of sample music and electronic music. And they had done an album of, is it Debussy or Ravel? I don't remember. One of the French composers, either Ravel or Debussy, and had created an entire album using samples from his from his music, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's lush French turn of the century sample backgrounds with some really chill drum and bass beats over the top of it. It's really cool to listen to. Nice evening music, nice dinner music as well. To kind of have that on in the background creates a really sexy mood. Anyways, so those are the questions, and let's see, do we have anything on this chat feed here? Why is this not moving? David, please speak Japanese. Ohayo gozaimasu, Nihon. Okay, that's just said good morning, Japan. Because it is technically early morning for you there. Plans for next year. Plans for next year. That's a good question. Well, obviously we've got the album is coming out later this year. Again, can't talk about it. But the plan for next year, we are creating another tour that's going to use this music off of this specific album and some other tracks that will relate to this album. And beyond that, I can't really say much more, but we are planning on doing a world tour starting early next year and going through the year. Again, back on the road. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to get back out there. Let's see. Replied, very diplomatic. I don't know what that's in response to. Okay. Yes, they want my mom to show the video. Somebody is seeing commercials and okay. Stop the commercials. I want to see David, not ads. That must be something that you're watching through your Ustream. Is Cosmo here with me? Yes, Cosmo is here with me. He is in the other room at the moment. You might have heard him kind of mini barking a little bit. I think he's wanting to get my attention back because I have been over here for now 35 minutes. So I think with that, it is time to wrap this up. I hope you have all had a fun time. I know it's a different feeling having just one of us here instead of all four. It gets a bit sillier when there's all four of us and we're all kind of bantering back and forth with each other. There's a lot less of that's what she said that goes on. Oh, there he's barking again. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this web chat. I hope I got to a lot of your questions. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody's questions, but I tend to drag on with my answers. I don't really have short versions of answers ever. So with that, I will bid you a very happy Saturday and or Sunday for those of you in Asia who are already there. And take care, and we'll see you again when we are ready to actually announce the album. So take care, bye-bye, have fun, see you later.